now appears if she wants to run for supervisor again, it will have to be as a write-in candidate.
Let's talk about Tiffany Henyard, the controversial mayor of Dothan, Illinois, who has earned the nickname Super Mayor, but for all the wrong reasons. If you thought politics couldn't get any messier, think again. Henyard has been making headlines for a series of scandals, from legal battles over a tumultuous caucus to accusations of financial mismanagement and the shadow of a looming FBI investigation. Her political career has descended into chaos, but rather than stepping back, she's doubling down, refusing to acknowledge defeat and leaving turmoil in her wake. So what's really going on with Tiffany Henyard, and how did things spiral this far? Buckle up, because this is a wild ride.
18 months after our first WGN Investigates report on questionable spending by South Suburban politician Tiffany Henyard, it appears she has been forced off the ballot.
Let's start with a recent Democratic caucus in Thornton Township, which was meant to be a routine process but quickly turned into a political circus. Tiffany Henyard, who holds both the position of Thornton Township Supervisor and Mayor of Dolton, was determined to keep her township role. However, things didn't go as planned. Her name was left off the ballot after she failed to meet the necessary requirements for a full slate of candidates. Apparently, her team overlooked the need for a certified assessor, a crucial requirement for any township supervisor campaign. As a result, Illinois State Senator Napoleon Harris, who also serves as the township's Democratic committeeman, swooped in and secured the nomination for himself.
Thornton Township Supervisor Tiffany Henyard, who was appointed to that position tonight, lost her bid for the Democratic Party's nomination in this rarely used.
Henyard didn't take the loss quietly. She stormed out of the caucus, accusing Harris of running an illegal process and vowing to sue everyone involved. "You didn't run any of this the right way," she shouted, her frustration boiling over. Harris, however, pushed back, insisting the caucus followed proper rules. He explained that while people in Thornton Township might be new to caucuses, given that they hadn't held one in a while, this process was a long-standing tradition in many other townships across the state. But Henyard's supporters were furious, claiming the entire process was rigged. They said her supporters were left out in the cold while Harris's team filled the room. Some even accused him of voter suppression. "This is criminal," one Henyard ally fumed, noting that hundreds were barred from participating. The controversy didn't end there. Henyard doubled down, labeling the caucus a fraud and threatening legal action. Her lawyer argued that the rules were deliberately manipulated to keep her off the ballot. For instance, one rule stated that candidates for township supervisor couldn't run for another office at the same time. Henyard, of course, is also seeking re-election as Dolton's mayor, and she claims she wasn't informed of this rule until the day of the caucus. She says the whole process was stacked against her. Harris's team, however, maintains the rules were available in advance and publicly posted. But let's be clear, this isn't just about a chaotic caucus. Henyard's troubles go much deeper. Over the past year, she's faced accusations ranging from lavish spending to the mismanagement of township and village funds. Critics say she's treated taxpayer money like her personal piggy bank. One report revealed that she spent a staggering $43,000 on Amazon in a single day. Yes, you read that right, $43,000. And that's just the beginning. She's also been accused of racking up over $100,000 in travel, meals, and other expenses, often with little to no explanation.
Because they can't beat me. If they could beat me, they would have went to the polls. But now when I bring the people out, you don't let them in?
Henyard's financial decisions have left Dolton in disarray, according to a preliminary report from former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, who was brought in as a special investigator. The report revealed that Dolton's general fund plummeted from a surplus of over $5 million to a deficit of more than $3 million in just 2 years. Lightfoot's investigation also uncovered that Henyard used the Village credit card for personal purchases at stores like Walgreens, Target, and Wayfair. Meanwhile, many of Dolton's residents, whose median income is just $24,000 a year, are left questioning where their hard-earned tax dollars have gone.
To me, there are perception issues with it that are right to get attention. Will the court look at those perception issues? Probably not, but the voters certainly should.
Henyard's financial troubles extend beyond her office. She's also facing eviction from her rented home. According to her landlord, Henyard and her boyfriend haven't paid rent since August and now owe thousands in back payments. To make matters worse, they reportedly changed the locks and the garage code to keep the landlord out. This is the same Henyard who earns nearly $300,000 a year from her roles as mayor and township supervisor. If she can't manage to pay her rent, how can she be trusted to oversee millions in taxpayer funds? Henyard's financial issues aren't just personal. They've spilled over into her governance of Dolton and Thornton Township, leaving residents to deal with the fallout. For months, trustees have raised concerns about unpaid bills, including overdue payments for essential township services. One of the major issues is the township's insurance, which has reportedly lapsed due to non-payment. Without insurance, residents are left vulnerable, with critical services like senior bus programs and liability coverage for township properties hanging in the balance. Henyard blames the trustees for blocking her efforts to address these problems, but critics argue that her poor financial management is what created the crisis in the first place.
You didn't run none of this the right way. Illegal. Napoleon.
Adding to the chaos, Henyard recently proposed slashing the salary for her successor as Thornton Township supervisor to just $25,000, a dramatic reduction from the $200,000 she currently earns. Described by trustees as a blatant attempt to deter qualified candidates, the proposal has sparked outrage. Critics argue it's yet another example of Henyard putting her personal agenda ahead of the community's needs. It's an insult to the residents who deserve competent leadership. One trustee remarked, accusing Henyard of trying to sabotage the position for anyone who follows her. Meanwhile, Henyard's ongoing legal battles are draining township funds at an alarming rate. Her lawsuits against trustees and critics often require costly legal counsel, which is being paid for by taxpayers. Residents are growing frustrated as they watch their money go toward what seems like personal vendettas rather than legitimate governance. With an FBI investigation looming, many fear that the township could face even more financial strain if criminal charges are brought against Henyard or her allies.
People were getting let in at the proper time. We had a caucus, and the people voted for us slated candidates to represent them.
Despite all the controversy, Henyard insists she is the victim of a smear campaign. She's been using every opportunity to cast herself as a misunderstood leader battling against the system. During a recent village board meeting, she compared herself to Donald Trump, claiming she's been unfairly targeted because of her position. Like it or not, I am your mayor, she declared, even as some audience members turned their backs in protest. But her critics aren't buying it. One person bluntly remarked, she doesn't pay her own bills. Stop her and continue to expose her. If you thought this saga couldn't get any messier, think again. Henyard is also under investigation by the FBI, which is reportedly looking into allegations of financial misconduct, including the misuse of taxpayer funds and political retaliation. Business owners in Dolton have accused her of using the police to raid their establishments after they refused to back her politically. One bar owner claimed his license was revoked shortly after he declined to donate to an event sponsored by Henyard. Another business owner said his trucking company was shut down after facing similar pressure. These actions have led some to describe her leadership as a real-life version of * Parks and Recreation *, but without the laughs.
2025, and clock is ticking.
The FBI isn't the only group investigating Henyard's activities. Her own trustees have called for inquiries into her spending habits, which they claim are spiraling out of control. One particularly shocking report revealed that some Dolton police officers earn more in overtime than in their actual salaries. For example, one officer with a base salary of $73,000 received over $100,000 in overtime pay. Critics argue that this is yet another sign of Henyard's mismanagement, as funds that could be used to improve the town are instead being directed toward questionable expenses. So, what's next for Tiffany Henyard? For now, she remains in office, but her days as Thornton Township supervisor are likely numbered. Without the Democratic nomination, her only options are to run as a write-in candidate or as an independent. Even so, she remains confident. I am 100% confident that I will be on the ballot, she said, asserting that her legal team is already preparing a lawsuit to challenge the caucus results. However, even if she manages to stay on the ballot, it's hard to see how she can recover from the mountain of scandals that have piled up over the past year.
My seat by 82%. Know this, I am gonna come through on a landslide just like Trump did. Know that I will be victorious in this.
Meanwhile, residents of Dolton and Thorndon Township are left to deal with the fallout. Trustees have boycotted meetings, leaving the township without insurance and putting essential services at risk. Frustrated residents say the constant drama has turned their government into a joke. In the end, Henyard's story serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power and poor leadership. Her rise to prominence may have been driven by identity politics and flashy promises, but her actions have shown that she's more focused on self-preservation than on serving her community. As one resident put it, she is the reason why the town has no insurance. The big question now is whether Henyard will face the consequences of her actions or somehow find a way to claim to power. What does this mean for the future of Dolton and Thorndon Township? Will the damage she's caused be reversible, or has she left a permanent stain on these communities? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Is Tiffany Henyard a victim of political sabotage, or is she her own worst enemy? And what should residents do to make sure their voices are heard moving forward? Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on this unfolding drama.